cash.
I hate it when the Sith are talking to you like that. Long story short, I think that the Star Destroyer versus the Enterprise is a tougher battle than you might think. I think the Star Destroyer could do something.
I think the Enterprise would have a really good shot, though, because, for example, what can the Star Destroyer not do? It cannot detach the saucer section and film the rest of the episode from the battle bridge.
But that's not a disadvantage.
Against two little Enterprises.
No, because then you've got
the Star Destroyer can't even turn around. It's not maneuverable. Now you can hit it from two sides.
But the Star Destroyer has TIE fighters all over the place, plus cannons that can shoot in any direction. It could totally do it.
What? Are you going to have... No.
You can't just say no? You can't just say no? That's like the worst argument thing ever. It's like, I think this. No.
Okay.
No, you can't do that.
Plasma cannons. Come on, plasma cannons. You can shoot things out for. You have all the grenades for all practical purposes. They're like,
and Danny's sitting here like, I have nothing to say.
All I can say for this is that welcome to Geek. I am sitting over here in the Serenity, drinking a beer, watching you two duke it out, like little kids, being like, "Hey, what can we sell for spare parts to get more spare parts to fix my shit?"
You know what? If she's in the
do?
Serenity, I think I would want to be in Moya, also getting the heck out of there.
While Talon flies in, is like,
Talon, don't do it! Don't do it, Talon! You are going to die!
I'm attacking everybody!
And Talon lasts about 7.3 seconds.
And he's done, and everybody's... Yeah, like the people in the Star Destroyer are like, what was that? No, it's... hey, welcome to Geek. I'm Mark Gardner.
I am Danni Danger.
I'm Chris-Rachel Oselund.
Yay! Josh is not here this week. I'm going to be your Loverly?
Yes.
Yes, go with it.
I'm going to be your Loverly. I'm going to be your lovely, curmudgeonly guy today.
You're so bad at curmudgeonly.
I really am bad at curmudgeonly, aren't I?
Awesome.
I just don't pull off. I'm going to try to be as grumpy as possible just so I can channel Josh. Because I feel like we're going to miss the grumpy aspect of things. We're just like, no.
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 No. Move on. What's next? I'm bored. Next topic. I'm bored.
So, Chris-Rachel actually writes cookbooks.
It's true.
Cookbooks, drink books, geek-themed stuff. So tell us about, your new book has been getting a lot of traction and a lot of positive attention because it's amazing.
It is. I'm biased, but it really is.
Just so you know.
So what are some of your favorite recipes from Kitchen Overlord?
Well, Kitchen Overlord's actually the name of the website, and our company is Kitchen Overlord. So this one's the Illustrated Geek Cookbook, and it is exactly what it sounds like. Every single recipe is illustrated. This one was designed so that a lot of people think it was designed for kids because of the art style, because it's really, really freaking adorable.
It's so cool.
But it really wasn't. It was designed more with the idea like, okay, so it's 3 a.m. and you're drunk, and you just need pictures to tell you how the fuck food works. We've got you covered.
How does food work?
If you're 3 a.m. and drunk, it's really hard.
Here's one thing I love about this, because you even brought this up in our first little debate where you're talking about Moya flying in here. You've got everything in there. I mean, there's
so
Babylon
much.
5, there's Farscape, there's everything in there, which was really kind of fun. When I saw Babylon 5, I was like, this is my cookbook.
It covers 120 years of geek culture, going from H.G. Wells' The Time Machine all the way up through the show Sleepy Hollow.
Brilliant.
And we wanted to hit books, movies, comics, etc. We kind of wanted it to be, because it's obviously like a tabletop, or you know what I mean, coffee table kind of book.
Coffee table book, yeah.
So we wanted it to be something that could kind of sort of be an encyclopedia. And I gotta say, selling it at conventions has been great because you get families picking it up.
Oh, yeah.
And the kids will recognize some things, like the newer things, and the adults will recognize others. And my favorite thing is to see a family go, okay, we've got to make that one. No, we've got to make that one. What is that?
What is the spice thing?
And have to say, okay, I tell you what, I will make this if you'll watch my show. Because we have this. I'm like, okay.
Done.
I have done my job here.
Done. Yeah. Well done. Well, I gotta tell you, I'm like impressed, and I kind of want to like make some of the Dungeons and Dragons stuff.
Oh my goodness! You know, Tom, the artist, Tom Gordon. I won the lottery getting Tom Gordon to work with me on this. He's a wonderful artist as well as just a metronome. He cranked out one of those 2-page things, one a week for a year. The only time he was late was when there was a hurricane, and he actually managed to get somebody else's phone to send me a text message like, "I'm really sorry this week's is going to be late, but my apartment's underwater." Like, dude, it's okay.
It's all right. If you're drowning, you don't have to get your thing in on time.
He's
That's fine.
Wonderful to work with, and.
Well, we're really excited you're here. Thanks for joining us on all this stuff. We've got a lot to talk about. If you guys are out there watching, we want to hear about it. Get on the Twitch stream. Twitch.tv/.geek. Leave some comments in there. I'm going to try to watch this time. I'm going to try to watch the comments. Josh normally does that. I'm going to push my comfort out. You can also tweet us. I'm at Mark Gardner ATX. Danny is at Danni Danger. So make sure that you are throwing out the tweets. So
I guess technically I'm at Chris-Rachel, even though I didn't put it up there, but Yeah.
You can find her. Do a search on Twitter. You'll find her. Look for the thing. But there's a ton of stuff to talk about. The big thing that's going on, there's a ton of stuff going on at E3. And holy crap, every time I turn around, there's some new thing happening at E3. And the past few days, there have been a ton of big announcements. I don't even know where to start. So we're just going to start with the few things that really kind of jumped out at me. One of the things that jumped out at me was the gameplay trailer for the new Star Wars Battlefront. If you guys have not seen this trailer, you're about to, because we're going to stream it.
Because we're going to show it to you.
But it is amazing. This is all stuff that is actual gameplay footage captured on a PlayStation 4. And I got to tell you, it looks freaking amazing.
That is very pretty.
I am like so blown away by what I'm seeing with this. And I'm not really a first-person shooter kind of guy. I'm much more of an RPG game. You know, I like to go through in the Dragon Age and the things like that and really work the RPG aspect.
Make
But
sure you have
from
at least 7 wives.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, exactly. Because you have to. This thing is amazing. I am really impressed with what Battlefront looks like. I'm a little bummed because I don't think that it's coming to PC. Am I wrong in that? But I don't think it's coming to PC, which really is kind of a bummer because I'm a PC gamer kind of guy. But if you are into the Star Wars universe, this looks amazing.
I want to say the whites are really impressing me. Because I know that sounds silly, but it's really hard to get a lot of depth in white and gray that looks that rich.
Oh, yeah.
And so I'm impressed with the animation, EA. Good job.
You got so much texture in the snow.
Yeah.
The fact that they chose the Hoth attack is what they're going to really showcase.
It's just a much more difficult thing to animate.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It really is.
And
all
it
you have
looks
to
fantastic.
do. Anybody that has sat down and played through any level of Oblivion, Elder Scrolls Oblivion, you guys know the game I'm talking about. Where there is so much snow out there, you know how hard it is to deal with this stuff. And what's looking at here is amazing. One of the other things I like, and Danny, when you were watching this, you made mention of this. You can play as Darth Vader.
Really?
Yeah, you can play. I think, I'm not sure, because I forgive me.
Is it a first-person shooter or a first-person sword fight?
All the above.
Oh.
All of the above.
Yes, and also yes.
Yes and yes. I'm not entirely sure how it works. So if somebody out there knows the mechanics behind it, I think that it's a random spawn. So if you're killed, there's a chance you'll spawn.
I'm just going to keep dying until I get to be Vader.
Wow. Just got there
you know what that means. You're going to have like a whole bunch of suicide kamikazes just waiting to pop up as Vader.
I know.
Right?
I don't know how that works, because if it's not, if you get to choose that you're going to be Darth Vader, you know everybody's going to be like, I'm totally Darth Vader.
It's going to be nothing but Vader on Vader
exactly.
action.
That's boring.
Oh, God, we got to go kill another Vader.
I mean, it's got to be something like that. I don't know.
You know they have clone bats. You can make that happen.
Yes!
Totally make that happen.
You know what I'm doing with my afternoon?
Your day is set now.
Your day is set.
Huzzah! But seriously, this is the kind of game that honestly makes me think, maybe I should buy a PS4. I don't know. Maybe I could do a PS4.
And then you could watch your own show.
Yeah, right. No kidding,
yes.
right? Whatever. I don't need to watch my own show. I'm on the show, right? So I don't know.
Okay, can you actually do the rope thing on the legs? Because
you totally do the rope thing on the legs.
I would have to do that.
You totally do the rope things on the legs.
You know that the first time people play this, they're just going to be doing their favorite moments from the movie. It's like,
of
okay,
course.
we're going to shoot later, but right now we're taking one down and we're cutting open a tauntaun.
Back when the TIE
the
Fighter,
that one.
when the TIE Fighter games came out, like years and years ago, through LucasArts and everything, whether it was TIE versus X-Wing or whatever it was, all of those real space simulator games were amazing. And the fact that you could actually get in the cockpit and drive and do an attack run on a Star Destroyer, come on!
You know, but they're missing out one vital thing about gaming.
What's that?
Where's the accounting? I mean, my EVE Online brothers and sisters out there, come on.
Yeah, you're right. If you're really into the economy, you might not be wanting to play Battlefront. I'm sorry.
I still love EVE Online for being the first massively multiplayer game of accounting.
I know, that's really true. Do you play EVE Online?
I don't, but I have a bunch of friends who do, and they're constantly telling me all these things they've done. Like, wow, that sounds deeply boring, but will you do my taxes for me?
Yes. Is that something you can do while
Can I give you
playing?
American dollars instead of
Maybe.
EVE Online currency to do this actual thing in real life? No. What if I draw spaceships on the dollars?
You know what? I bet people would take virtual currency. because it is so
I
valuable.
will give you
out
Tom
there.
Gordon's drawings of food put onto virtual currency if you'll do my taxes for me.
I don't think that would work. Yeah, it's interesting because EVE Online, I think, was one that the news came out last year where there was a huge battle between a bunch of players.
yeah,
and it was
yeah.
like in real dollars. People lost a ton of money in real dollars off of this. EVE Online is really intriguing to me.
It honestly is. Honestly, I'm amazed that there aren't more sociological studies of EVE Online because
Yeah.
that, much more than, say, The Sims or, what is the one that's supposed to be the more real-world Sims that nobody ever took off?
Second Life.
Yes, Second
Yeah,
Life.
yeah.
I feel like EVE Online is a lot more realistic than any of those because that's what people would actually be doing. Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to upload my mind into a spaceship and we're going to deal with currency.
That's cool. That's great.
That's
I don't know.
kind of what our politicians do as it is, except
that's
with a
true.
lot more cocaine and hookers. I'm sure that there's a currency for that in EVE Online, though.
I'm sure there is. There would be no doubt in my mind that's happening right now.
Let
in
us
EVE
know,
Online.
people from EVE Online, about the currency of cocaine
Tweet
and hookers.
us. We gotta get in there.
Back to the important things that are new and are not about accounting.
That's right. Long story short, I'm excited about Battlefront.
Yeah.
It looks like, there are a ton of Star Wars games. Not all of them are good. Like
Really?
Knights of the
Really?
Old Republic. There's the camera. Knights of the Old Republic. One of the best games I've ever played. It's an RPG. It's
But
not
does
an
it have a
FPS.
dance scene part?
You know what? Let me think, because there might actually be a thing where you dance. Because there is in Mass Effect 3, there's a thing where you dance with your crew members. Yes.
I seriously have this thing about like being able to dance in video games. People have like talked me into actually trying to play a video game by being like, look, you can make them dance.
Have you ever
I'm
played
like,
Dance
oh.
Dance Revolution?
Well, yeah, that's
Okay.
actually me. Like that's my own coordination, though. Like that's different. I should not be on the feet. I have problems with the
You
feet.
do have problems. She has
I
a
have problems
broken
with the feet,
foot.
so I would much rather dance this way.
Oh.
Well,
I mean,
yeah,
what-
but Dance
how-
Dance
how different
Revolution
is
with
this
the
from-
dance pad. Have you done that at your house with the dance
No.
pad?
I have.
Okay.
I used to actually have a bunch of DDR parties
That
because
is
I'm lame.
freaking amazing.
No, that's
Okay,
not
thank
my
you.
thing.
Yay.
Oh, no, I'm all about
Yay.
Dance Dance Revolution. It's great.
I love it.
Oh,
I mean,
it's the
I
best
love
ever.
watching people play it.
This has nothing to do with E3. Zero.
myself.
Welcome
But,
to games old people used to play.
Yay! Well, of course, they are redoing like Guitar Hero. I love
That's
how I
true.
said that.
Guitar Hero.
You want to talk about?
It's going to have some
Guitar Hero.
twang in it with the Guitar Hero because we're in Texas.
You gonna talk
This
about?
has actually been like the big deal. Like that's actually kind of a big deal is remaking games.
Well, yeah, it is.
We have
Which
a big one with news on that.
the big thing right now, and this was huge when this was announced. People were in the crowd, like standing up, cheering. They've announced that they're going to do a remake of Final Fantasy VII. What? What? That's crazy.
But they're up to like 14, aren't they?
Yeah, but none of them compare to 7. Now, okay. Before I go on any farther, I have to say, in all honesty, in all fairness, I have not played 7. I'm sorry. I have not played 7.
We're going to have to take you out and burn you after this.
Probably so. I will probably get some hate because of it, but I
Set
understand
fire
my
to his
failings.
pubes now.
Just right now, because that's what you do. It's like Game of Thrones. That's what they do. I have heard so much about Final Fantasy VII and how it is kind of the high point in the series. Now, I love Final
People
Fantasy
love it
X.
for the plot.
Yeah, it's all about the story.
Yeah.
And really, the reason I haven't been able to play 7 is the graphics. I cannot get past the dated graphics.
Do you know if they're going to keep the original story from 7? Because if they keep the whole story, maybe with only minor modifications.
It's a remake, is what they're saying. Is that it is a remake. There have been talk about porting it.
what is
They're
a
saying
remake?
taking this story and making it into a modern video game.
I think they should add a few additional chapters so you're not like, I'm just going to replay these levels that I played when I was 10.
You know, they may. Who knows? But I don't think they'll do anything significantly different to the story. Now, the other caveat to this is that they announced that they are starting development. So their announcement is, hey, guys, we're going to do Final Fantasy VII. We're going to start work on it in a week or
I feel
so.
like there's been a lot of that at E3 being like, we're gonna do this thing in 2 years.
if you guys like it and tweet about it a whole lot, we'll do this thing.
Yeah.
Maybe. Heck, people have been yelling. Well, they've been
We
wanting
got a guy
Final
in someone's basement
Fantasy.
working on this thing right now.
Now.
Right this minute.
People have been wanting a remake for this almost as soon as Final Fantasy VII came out.
But that's a big deal. That is a big deal to me, even in a pop culture sense, because we all have these fandoms and we all have these things that we play, that we watch, that we love, that we're like, bring it back or redo it, and
Yeah.
or we hear about it and it's always in the pipeline but never going to come to fruition, and so we just give up hope and we just sort of, it becomes a running joke. Final Fantasy VII being remade this way sort of like gives all of us hope that have all of these like, just.
And building on that, one of the things that I love about it, the thing that everybody loved about Final Fantasy VII, as I said earlier, was the plot. Right. It wasn't the graphics. It really wasn't the graphics. But they just really loved the actual story. And the idea that they're going to remake a game because people love the storytelling, I think is kind of a hint that, hey, maybe people would like more games with really good storytelling.
I think I've had this discussion a lot in the past few years where I really think that we're seeing a shift in video games in general that are really focusing on good stories.
Yeah. They really are.
The Last of Us is kudos to everyone for The Last of Us. Again, a game I can't play because it's a PlayStation exclusive. I'm a PC gamer, people. Can we get a port for The Last of Us so that I can play the thing? It's not asking too much.
So are you obsessed with being able to just have Netflix streaming in the background while you're gaming on your PC?
Oh, no.
Is there a reason that you just don't like the consoles?
I like the fact that I can play anything on the PC.
Except for the games that are exclusive to the consoles.
Well, yes, that's true. But it's like you were saying before with the Xbox One.
Yeah, this is what's really interesting to me is the backwards capability now of Xbox One, and it's like, well, great, everybody with a PC is laughing at you.
Yeah, because so one of the announcements was that Xbox One is going to start being backwards compatible with the Xbox 360, which is great because every time there's a new platform, the big question is, can I still play my games? Mm-hmm. And more often than not, it seems like the answer is no.
Which is frustrating and irritating as a consumer.
But a PC game, I can play whatever, and I keep it.
I can still go back and play Civilization 4 if I feel like
exactly.
it.
You go on Steam, and I can get XCOM Terror from the Deep from 1992 and still play it.
I can play Zork on my phone, man!
You can do it off Steam. They have it on Steam. You can do all the things. So yeah, it's interesting like that. But I've lost track of where we were. It's a remake.
Yeah.
It's a thing for Final Fantasy VII because of the story, which I'm really excited about. This might be my final chance to play Final Fantasy VII if they port it to PC. They do say that they're going to have other platforms later. It's going to start off as a PS4 exclusive. Then they'll have ports later. There's no time frame that's been given. They're developing.
Maybe 2020?
Maybe if we're lucky.
Honestly, I feel like anytime they're making announcements like, we're going to get started on this any day now, you guys go get all riled up on social media, it's really just a test platform to see if people will get riled up on social media.
Oh, they will.
And
for this game, they'll totally get riled up.
For this game, they will. But I think for a lot of the other things that they're announcing right now, saying, yeah, we're totally going to get started on that next Tuesday, I think it's a test. I think they just want to see if people actually want it.
There is a thing that I like that video games do that movies and TV shows don't do. Movies and TV shows, I feel like, will promise you that something's coming, and that's it, and that's all. And maybe you get a photo of somebody wearing a costume looking very sweaty on set. Maybe. But other than that, you get, or you get some weird casting news out of nowhere, but that's it. That's all you get. When these video game companies are saying, we're bringing you Final Fantasy VII, they have a trailer for it. So they're like, and we're not just screwing around here.
We're actually going to do
it.
Now, you say that, but there's something we're going to talk about later that there's been some on and off again relationships later on with what's it called, The Last Guardian. We'll talk about that in a minute. You brought up something too that was talking about the pop culture influence of these things, and one of the things that a lot of people were really excited about when the launch trailer for Final Fantasy VII came out is when you see the figure of Cloud walking through, and here is this iconic character with that sword, and he walks through, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, it's Cloud!"
And they all come
and then we
pants.
all and everywhere, everyone derped.
Everyone.
Derp.
I had the exact same feeling at the end of the trailer for Mass Effect Andromeda.
Really?
Yes.
Mass Effect Andromeda, the trailer looks freaking amazing.
The very end of that, the character turns around and walks towards the camera, and there's that N7 logo. And as soon as I saw that N7 logo, I just was like, "Oh my God! Oh my God!" It's Mass Effect. In case you didn't know, I'm a huge fan of Mass Effect.
I'm getting that subtle impression.
Oh yeah, it is a big thing. When we're talking like franchises that I am really into, it is Mass Effect, it is Dragon Age. I mean, these are the things that I really get into, these role-playing games. And we were having this discussion earlier. I think Mass Effect is as important as other franchises like Star Wars and Star Trek in terms of sci-fi and science fiction storytelling. It's amazing. Okay, how much have you played?
Not really.
Okay, then.
But the only reason that I'm raising my eyebrows at that is it's a much more limited number of people that are going to get into it. That's like saying like Jonathan, I shouldn't call it that. John Scalzi is like he is super important. I love his books, but I would say they're on par with video games as far as cultural influence and the number of people that have actually interacted with them as a
I'll
media.
agree with you. What were you going to say?
Well, that's what I had said when we talked about this earlier was, well, cultural influence, if you're talking cultural influence, then I have to disagree. But I think what you were talking about was the sociological composition of the actual world itself.
Oh.
It's very, the Mass Effect universe is very interesting because it's very quote unquote real. There are diverse cultures, there are diverse opinions. It's
not a bunch of Polish white people?
No, it's really not.
Oh my goodness,
yeah,
that
I
is
know.
shocking.
Who would have ever thought, right? It is a ridiculously well thought out, well imagined universe that is full of great stories and great characters. And when you're looking at these sci-fi worlds, if you are a fan of science fiction, you should look at the Mass Effect universe.
Okay, this is actually making me want to play Mass Effect.
You totally should. You totally should. There are going to be people that are going to say, oh, the third one. Get over the third one, people. Get over the third one. I can point to the first one and say, get out of that damn car, because the first one drives me crazy driving around. They actually are bringing it back. What was it, the Mako? Yeah, the Mako. Driving the Mako around. There are problems with every game. The second one is one of my favorite games ever. Oh yeah, and the driving
in video games.
driving in Mass
It's
Effect
horrible.
1. How did this get out of development, guys? How the hell did this get out of development?
Somehow commuting to work made it into one of your favorite leisurely activities, and I don't know how the fuck that happened.
I don't know. That's
Whoever's
ridiculous.
responsible for that is fired.
Bad idea.
We're going all
Bad
the way back to,
idea.
like even Mario Kart, sometimes I get to the point where I'm like, okay, I played a couple of rounds of this, and this is just annoying. This is just like driving down I-35 in Austin. Like I don't want to do
How
this.
do you drive 35 in Austin? You play
When's the
Mario
last time
Kart?
you've been on
What are you
I-35?
talking about? When I sit in 35 in Austin, I'm like,
People are horrible.
My commute is a bit more like
God, I'm
yours,
gonna
yeah.
change radio station. Oh, I get to go 5 feet. That is the worst game of Mario Kart ever.
Oh, no. I only
Ever.
drive during times of the day when you can actually move your vehicle.
Like 3 a.m.?
Yes.
Yes,
That's
pretty
the
much.
only time that
Pretty
you'll
much.
drive on 35.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
right,
pretty
all right,
much.
Whatever.
Yeah, when I get off work at like 2 a.m, that's when I drive on I-35, and then I'm driving with like,
Yeah.
I'm driving with
Truckers
like
on amphetamines.
drunk Princess Peach and really drunk Toadstool. Like, how the fuck did he get in his car, Toadstool?
This needs to be a thing. This needs to totally be a thing. I
Drunk
don't know how
Mario
it's going to be a thing. Maybe not drunk Mario Kart, but I just want to see Mario Kart on 35. That's all. For those of you who don't know, the Interstate 35 going through Austin is one of the deadliest
Horrible.
stretches of interstate highway in the entire United States. That's a fact.
horrible.
Look it up. It's horrible. It is the worst stretch of highway ever. We just had a comment in there. That's where those banana peels are coming from on 35. Yes! That's it! Oh my God, nailed it! Totally nailed it. Oh,
Fucking banana
God.
peels.
Anyways, going back to Mass Effect. Welcome to the show, folks. We don't know what we're talking about. It just, things happen.
Science fiction.
Whatever, science fiction. Long story short, Mass Effect is coming out. The planned release is holiday 2016, which is a year off. This is something that I will be pre-ordering. I already told you guys that I'm pre-ordering the crap out of XCOM 2. I will be pre-ordering this. And I don't pre-order a lot. I pre-order XCOM, Mass Effect, Dragon Age, pretty much it. That's what I pre-ordered. So yes, this is definitely going in my
Do you
queue.
already know what exciting little extra figures and things you're going to get for your pre-order?
No idea.
Oh,
Although,
wow. Okay, that's a dedicated pre-order.
Oh,
Most
yeah.
of the people I know are like, I'll pre-order it as long as I get some cool swag.
no. Although I totally did that for Mass Effect 3. When Mass Effect 3 came out, I got the deluxe like metal thing with the little art book and the soundtrack. Because the soundtrack for Mass Effect, guys, I could talk about Mass Effect all day. Can we just do a show about Mass Effect? No, I can't. They won't let me do a show about Mass Effect, but I would totally do that.
If you do that, I will sit here and just talk about nothing but John Scalzi books and pretend that we're having the same conversation.
Sounds good.
Like,
Let's
I
just do
really
that.
liked it in Mass Effect when they had the like little 3-foot tall cat people that spoke at a really high pitch.
It is very interesting you say that because they're actually 3-foot little tall, kind of like mole people.
Really?
Yeah, they have to wear these cool like respirator things so they
Okay,
can't
so when you
breathe
hit
their oxygen.
75, do you actually end up getting reincarnated into a green body?
That would be no.
That would be
Well,
a
Scalzi
no.
wins.
Although you may, never mind, I won't go into the spoilers about Mass Effect 3.
Yeah,
Anyways,
please
let's move on. The other thing you were talking about, and you were talking about this because a minute ago you said the nice thing about video games. You were talking about, sorry, I got distracted by the Twitch chat. You're talking about video games, how when they're going to announce something, they have a trailer. And this trailer is like, hey guys, we are totally doing a thing. And
Except that
they're
it's just
committing.
We have
animated.
real
Like, it's not actually,
proof.
it's
Yeah.
not real proof. I can't take it seriously as real proof because it's never actual, I shouldn't say never, it's rarely actually screenshots of actual gameplay. It's almost always just really pretty animation.
Which is
and we
gorgeous.
can hire someone to do some pretty animation here in Austin today.
Good. Let's do that just for the hell of
But
it.
at least
right.
there's something. At least there's something with movies. Like, I mean, you maybe get an image that may or may not have been like just edited, and
Are you saying that you don't like seeing sweaty Ichabod Crane leaning around in a bar?
that yes. But for instance, they announced, they say, oh, we swear we're doing a Wonder Woman movie. You get one
Okay,
shot of Gal
that's-
Gadot wearing
yeah.
a Wonder Woman outfit that may
Yeah.
or may not be, photoshopped,
Well, yeah.
and then you get some really vague casting announcements.
the
So it's
interesting
different
thing
for
about that,
movies
though-
and TV and for video games. They actually come to you with like some animation and
It's
be
a
like, we're
difference in
doing
budget.
this.
It's a huge difference in budget. Video games
Oh,
actually
yeah.
both cost more than movies and make more than movies. For how many years is it now that video games
Oh, I don't
have
know,
made
but-
more than
but they're
movies? But it's
making
been
it-
a
yeah,
while.
yeah.
And so, with movies you can always like scrap it and still reuse a set. With video games, not so much. I mean, you've got the engines in the background, but that's not the same thing. They're not usually creating a new engine for a game.
Well, usually not. It depends on what you're doing because there's a game that just came out. They're heavily modifying the Unreal Engine. Oh, which was the game that was doing this? They're using a really modified. Oh,
My
it's
Little Pony
XCOM.
Princess Power.
That's the one.
Yeah,
My
I
Little
thought
Pony
so.
Princess Power, modified
Woo!
Unreal Engine. Put this on the news. That's not actually. No, XCOM
This is
has
how we
actually
started a rumor.
starting a rumor. This is how it starts right here.
Incredible news source.
XCOM has modified the source engine so much that it's really not even that. They can't
Effectively a
even
new engine?
they can't even use the updated engine because their modifications have essentially rendered it a completely new
Okay.
thing. So I think it depends a little bit on the. Sorry, Twitter. I think it depends a little bit on the thing you're looking at. But my whole point in bringing this up was there has been evidence of a video game getting a trailer out there, and we sit around with nothing. And that is The Last
Nukem?
Guardian. The Last Guardian. The first video I saw for The Last Guardian came out, God, I don't even know, 2, 3, how many years ago did this thing come out? And nothing has happened. It's been an on-again, off-again project forever. But they finally
Well, we
announced...
eventually got Fallout. Fallout had been announced for how many years before
Well,
we finally
yeah,
got it?
yeah.
So it's a possibility this might come out
Well,
someday.
no, that's what I'm saying. This was just announced that this is actually happening. So at E3, they did announce that The Last Guardian is happening. For those of you who don't know, The Last Guardian is a sequel to Shadow of Colossus. Shadow of Colossus is another classic game. If you guys have not played Shadow of Colossus,
It's $5 on Steam.
it really is at this point. It really is at this point because it's summer sale and it's an old game. But I don't even know if they have a PC port. So
I
this is
wanna-
something you'd have to play on PlayStation.
I want this animal as a pet.
Shadow
I want
of
its giant goggles.
You want giant goggles? It might. Who knows? Shadow of Colossus is
Like
often
shiny horns.
it's really kind of put up there as the epitome of good storytelling in video games, and people have really been wanting to see something in that spirit for years. The Last Guardian was announced. It was on. It was off. It's like, oh, it's dead. Last I heard was this was dead. And now suddenly at E3, they're saying that it is finally coming out. I don't know what the release date on it is or anything yet. I'm not sure. I haven't seen any of that stuff. So I can't tell you when, but they are saying, no, Last Guardian is going to happen.
Okay.
I am really excited about The Last Guardian because Shadow of Colossus was such a great game. The story, the twist at the end of that, so surprising when that happened. I know, this is...
It's so
pretty
tense.
intense.
This is child negligence. I can't
yes,
watch.
It's just so
can't.
tough. And now the kid's going to have to jump. All
Oh
sorts
my
of
God!
things.
Don't talk me through it. I'm nervous.
All right, I won't talk you through it. Anyways, for anybody that's been a fan of this of the Shadow of Colossus, look for this one because this is going to be amazing. I mean, it looks gorgeous just by itself. I'm pretty sure, for those of you, and I don't think this is a huge spoiler, I'm pretty sure that this kid we're looking at right here is the baby from the end of Shadow of Colossus. I don't know. I don't know enough. Don't quote me on that, but I'm going to guess that that's what we're looking at right here.
Okay.
So you guys can see what this looks like. It's just gorgeous. I'm super excited about it. Long story short, that's where we're at.
Well, and this is cool because this looks like gameplay. So this
Yeah.
isn't just like a trailer that could inevitably like leave us waiting years and years and years, which this still could leave us waiting years and years and years.
Oh, it already has been. Like I said, this
But-
thing came out years ago. Years ago,
What's
I saw
changed?
stuff like this. So you're right, though. This does look like gameplay. It looks like we're pretty far along in the process. So this is going to come out. It's just a matter of when.
I want to groom that poor sad wolf bird.
I think it's like a hyena ostrich.
Yeah.
feel like I'm
I
getting
just want to
some
give it a shower.
a hyena
Yeah.
ostrich.
A
We can do that.
hyena, a mix of a hyena and an ostrich, and something with horns. I don't know where the
With
green
glowy
horns.
horns.
The
That's
green,
most
yeah, the
important.
green
Okay,
glowy horns.
we're gonna
might
try
come
that.
out.
So what else is going on with
Well,
E3?
I heard that my audio was like dropping, so I'm moving my mic around. Hopefully this fixes things a little bit. I don't know. You guys tell me. I'm just doing this thing. Meh. Anyways, so I mean, like I said, there's a ton of stuff going out at E3. These are the things that really kind of jumped out at me as being things that I'm really excited about. There are 1.5 million other things that are happening right now. We've already talked about Fallout 4. I've never played Fallout. Don't shoot me. Don't shoot me.
It has a
the
good
man.
sense of humor.
Well, yes, and that's why I want to play it. I actually want to go back and play the first one, even with the data graphics, because I hear that the first one is such a great
And
story.
probably available for $5 on Steam by now.
Summer sale on Steam, everybody. Geek, brought to you by Steam. Summer sale. I
sale.
wish. Portion of all proceeds goes to Geek. Not really. I wish. Can somebody get on that? Can somebody get on that? No? Yeah? Okay, good. So we're gonna work on that. No, we're not. Anyways,
awesome.
Oh, wait, we're not.
no, we're not. Somebody else is gonna work on that.
Somebody else.
Anyways, let's
If
move on.
Steam was backing us, could we actually like get a fog machine behind us every time we said Steam and go?
So
I'm just saying,
into it.
Steam, you should totally do this.
Oh
we
my
are a
God.
great show, and the special effects are really cheap. It's like $70.
Really?
Right?
Just get a hazer in the back and just I'll even have a little foot key, so I'll just be like, oh.
It's $5 on Steam.
Love it. Anyways, there's a lot of stuff going on at E3, so let us know if there's anything else we missed. You guys tell us about these things on the Twitters, on the Twitches, on the
Yeah.
anything like that. Apparently the audio is better. Yay!
Yay!
You're welcome.
They just really wanted to see you fillet the mic.
They really did. That's what it's all about. That's half the show, really.
Half the show.
Anyways, let's move on. There's some other things. It's not all game stuff.
It's not all
because-
E3?
No.
Not all
And
E3?
now Danny's got excited. I can see their eyes. Her eyes, as soon as said it's not all game stuff. You're
Everybody
like,
get out
oh,
of my way!
Oh, here he comes.
So the biggest thing that I'm excited about this week, that I was sort of excited about and now I'm feeling kind of crappy about. So DC officially, and I put that in quotes, I'll explain why. DC officially announced that Harley and Ivy are a couple. So DC does this thing where they
didn't
allow their
announce that.
creators to sort of take hold of the DC Twitter account and do question and answer. And it gets it's been problematic in the past. Somebody made like a racist type, just really not well thought out comment in the past. So it has caused DC problems in the past. So they gave the helm to Jimmy Palmiotti, who is writing the current Harley Quinn series. And of course, one of the first questions that came up, which is the question that we all ask all the time very loudly, are Poison Ivy and Harley Quinn a couple in the comics? To which Palmiotti, under the DC banner logo, stated that they are girlfriends without the jealousy of monogamy.
That's
what it
what he said,
was?
yes.
And immediately everybody goes, yay! Wait, what
Well,
the fuck does that mean?
I'm going to jump in first because you said that they're a couple, and there's nothing in that tweet that says they're a couple.
Yeah.
They
That's
said
exactly-
they're girlfriends without the jealousy of monogamy.
Which
So-
I think it's because they're villains. I think that
Yeah.
if they were heroes, they would be like, yes, these two are now in a committed relationship. But the thing about female villains in particular is writers, especially with comics, like to use their sexuality as kind of just a big old bludgeon. So they don't want to say that, yes, they're a couple or anything, because they still want to have them being able to go out and titillate and seduce a bunch of male characters.
And basically what is going on with this announcement and the phrasing of this announcement is that it's so vague that it really didn't answer the question at
Yeah.
all. Are they a polyamorous couple, or are they just screw around buddies?
Either of which would be fine. They can just say, hey, we're fuck buddies and we enjoy it.
Yes, either of which would be fine, but answering a question in like the vaguest possible way, I'm just not a fan of
I
how
actually
this
think
was
it'd be really
handled.
cool if they were just fuck buddies, because you don't see a lot of that
but I want
type
them
of.
as a
I understand.
couple.
The shippers want to see it go that way.
Yeah.
But it's not something that you actually see people acknowledge in comics a whole bunch. That like, wow, maybe two really hot people that are athletic and do the same thing like to occasionally grind their genitals together.
Yeah, and yes, and I wouldn't be like opposed to the two of them being just like screw around buddies, but my big thing is that like there is just a chemistry between the two that was felt all the way back in Batman the Animated Series. Like people have been asking this question. Yeah, like people have been asking this question since Batman the Animated Series, since I was like this high off the ground, and creators often say that they write characters to be queer, and we talk about queer representation in comics, specifically looking at DC. They recently had Catwoman come out, which was sort of great and problematic at the same time because it doesn't pack the momentum of having a hero come out. And now, I don't know if you guys know this, but
And they had her come out as bi.
And they had her come out as bisexual, which is great because, you have a lot of gay characters and there is a lot of bisexual erasure that happens in the comics. We just don't talk about a lot of times. Like Orange is the New Black is a really perfect example, actually, how the word bisexual is just like never used in reference to Piper because everybody just assumes she's a lesbian even though she has sexual relationships with both men and women. Like bisexual erasure is definitely a thing, and it was great for Catwoman to be announced bisexual, but it still fell into this category of, we're diversifying our villains because we are too afraid to take the step out to, diversify our heroes. Whereas
Which Wonder Woman, they should just go there with Wonder Woman. She
Several
was
creators.
sculpted from clay on an island covered with women.
Right.
You know what else is sculpted from clay? Historic dildos. I've got a master's in this. Come on. Tell me they weren't using them.
I'm just saying,
seriously.
she comes of age in puberty on an island full of women. She has fooled around. She has diddled at least one girl.
I don't know what I can add to this conversation right now. I'm not sure that I can add anything to the fact that ancient dildos made of clay.
You're welcome.
Ancient dildos made of clay. So
What else do we need?
So this makes a full circle because a lot of Wonder Woman writers, Gail Simone and Phil Jimenez in particular, have openly stated that they wrote Wonder Woman to be queer, assuming pansexual.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know the difference between bisexual is, sexuality on the, gender binary, which is male or female. Pansexual just basically is a different way of saying that you are attracted to people who lie outside of that gender binary. So androgynous folks, and I definitely have this thing. A lot of creators have written Wonder Woman to be pansexual, but DC has never confirmed it. Yeah. And considering that Wonder Woman has a currently running romance comic with Superman, like how impactful of a conversation would that be for her to be like, hey, so Clark, sit down. We need to have a conversation about something about me that you need to know. And for Superman, the all-American hero, to be like, that's great. I think that's awesome. You do you. Be you. Woo!
We'll get there. I think we're getting there. There's some stuff in the Twitch channel that I'm getting. Chris Cameron left. Hey Chris, how's it going? Left a couple of comments. He asked if there's a point or subtext to having villains come out as opposed to heroes. Does that sort of say it's a bad thing? I can see where we're getting to what your point is. It's like you're not having the heroes come out. It's easier to do that. When we're talking about this relationship with Harley and Ivy, I've never really seen those characters as straight up evil. So having them come out
Harley is the hero in her story.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
These
Hands
are
down.
Can I pick up on what he's saying, though?
Sure.
Cracked, which has some fantastic articles lately, had a really good one about how everyone who's portrayed as alternative, like non-cis hetero in the Star Wars universe is a villain. Every single gay, lesbian, bisexual, trans, you name it, they are all villains. And that is problematic when all of your non-cis hetero characters are villains.
Yeah.
And so with this, I agree that Harley is very much the hero of her own story,
Yeah.
but she's still, when they divide up the camps of, heroes and villains, she's definitely in the villains camp.
If you're splitting hairs, Catwoman is an anti-hero. She's not a villain. So, and there's a huge difference, story-wise that way. It is more of a overall social phenomenon that we just don't have a lot of queer heroes, period.
And with comics, there's also a problem is you don't have a whole lot of women to pick from to begin with, so how many of, we can't really, it's, about a 4-to-1 ratio at this point? So you can't really have as diverse a representation even if you wanted to. If, for example, one of the problems with Marvel Comics, with the Avengers movies, you've got one female character. She suddenly has to represent all women in every way. That doesn't really work.
Yeah.
Chris wants me to make sure that everyone's clear that he's not saying that it's a bad thing. He's saying that DC is making it appear it's a bad thing. No, we get that, Chris. I'm sorry if I said
that was just a conversations point.
And I don't think that DC is necessarily portraying it in a bad way either, because DC with Harley and Catwoman have done a really, really good job of fleshing out those characters, rounding off those characters so that you don't perceive them, when you're reading their titles, you don't perceive them as villains. You definitely perceive them as the hero in their story. And that's important. My big concern here is that, you have creators who have verified that when they wrote Wonder Woman, she was queer pansexual. And, DC gives the helm to another creator who outs these characters. Is that now DC canon because DC lent their Twitter handle to?
I don't think a Twitter
to
conversation
the creator?
is canon. There's nothing in Twitter that is going to be canon to any type of thing.
So this means absolute diddly squat crap to me until they make it canon.
Yeah, I would agree with you that. Yeah.
Squat,
Yeah. And on top of that,
there's a
canon's
tweet.
a flexible thing anyway.
Yeah.
Come on, they revise things every few years. I'm not like. If you want to say that, like,
Oh,
Chris
wait, no, that's the
Claremont's
wrong
everything
one.
that
Sorry.
he wrote is canon. Pretty much every single character he established is different now, and everything about them is different now. If you read comics, you just kind of have to roll with the whole, like, okay, every 3 years, there's going to be something I don't like and something I think is
Universe
awesome.
will be destroyed.
So I have a question, because there was, when you first talked to me about this tweet, I was like, oh, wow, that sounds great. But then everybody's like, oh, I'm not sure I see why there's disappointment in this tweet. You have this person who is writing these characters saying they are girlfriends in a non-monogamous relationship. Okay, great, good. So they love each other. They care about each other. How is it bad? How is there any downside to this?
You can already tell from the context of the book that they care about each other and that they love each other. What it doesn't tell us is if they are actually in a romantic relationship, or if they are just two people who flirt, or just two people who have sex. And we want to know those things.
But
We
can't
want
you
to
just-
know those things.
Why? Why does it matter?
Because so many people really connect with those two characters and connect them together. People feel really passionately about them, and especially because, I mean, DC...
She's saying /fic is not enough
DC... Now, here, let's... I'm going to bring up some old dirt, because the last lesbian couple, or not lesbian couple, that was bad phrasing, but the last female couple that DC had that was super important that fans connected with, they decided couldn't get married because it was too happy for the storyline Batwoman, which is absolute crap. So now we have this second situation where we're like, oh, we're really emotionally devoted to these characters as a couple. Can you give us something? Can you give us some canon? Can you, like, people have been asking about this for years, and DC, and I just don't feel like Paul Miati's answer was up to scratch. I don't
10
feel
years
like
from
it
now,
was
this will not be an
thorough
issue.
enough.
I
You're right.
honestly believe that 10 years from now, this will not be an issue. We're going through a lot of growing pains with comics in particular, for not just representation with sexuality, but representation in general. And so it's...
Yeah, it's all right.
It's a hard issue because I can see why, I can see a lot of sides of it, but Comics Alliance, the Mary Sue, like pretty much every major comic book reporting website has officially put, headlines, DC confirms Harley Quinn, Harley and Ivy are canon.
Yeah, but that's just bad
And
journalism.
I
if they're
don't
gonna
necessarily
confirm something
think
that isn't
that-
actually written.
Well, let's just put it this way. From my opinion right now, I could care less if DC confirms it. It's clear to everyone in the world. Everyone in the world. If we're waiting on DC to say, okay, let me write down a little note.
If we're waiting on DC to actually out
Who cares?
characters, we're going to be waiting forever.
don't care.
DC
It's
doesn't
done.
give a shit about your sexuality representation.
They really don't.
care.
So it's clear by everything we've seen that Harley and Ivy are together. They're together. End of story. I'm happy with that. Moving on. The loverly curmudgeon.
loverly
What am I
curmudgeon.
trying to say? What is the word thing that is projecting from the mouth hole? I don't know what's happening. Oh God, Black Widow stuff's happening. You're really excited about too.
Black Widow is actually officially getting some merch. When
Oh,
Civil
thank
War comes
God.
out, they have
Thank
confirmed that there
God.
will not only be Black Widow merch, but there will be a specific line of merchandising catered toward or directed at
Okay, is it going to be
women who are
just in the
fans
pink
of-
aisle that is
No, I
is it
don't
going to be
think so.
segregated from everything else?
I think they really seem to be committed to capturing the Black Widow fan base and providing products that those consumers can buy.
And let's talk what they announced as far as merch goes. I mean, it's not a Funko Pop because we already have a Funko
Yes.
Pop. I think what they specifically said was that they were going to have a large focus on adult female apparel. And they were going to really work on that kind of stuff.
Great. And I think that seeing the success of like the Her Universe stuff
Yeah.
being carried at Hot Topic has definitely made it, and how well those products have done. Good job for everybody buying those products. Has definitely made them see the payoff in creating these different merchandising lines. But to me, it was really powerful that this announcement came out 1 week after the totally grassroots We Want Widow movement that was put together that was just basically a bunch of fans and cosplayers getting together and taking and just flooding the media with a series of pictures saying, we want Black Widow merchandise, we're not kidding.
It's so frustrating to me because Disney is very open about the fact that when they bought both Lucasfilms and Marvel, they just wanted the boy demographic. They have the girl demographic locked down with the princesses, and so they actually came out and told people at Marvel, just don't even bother merchandising anything with the women, at least with the movie tie-ins, get rid of them. Like, Captain America's riding Black Widow's bike in some of the
that's
toys
so
that they're
messed up.
selling.
So
It's
much crap.
ridiculous.
Let's be very clear about this.
as-
How can you change a scene that is in a movie? I mean,
know.
this is in the
I
movie
agree.
with
I
Black
agree.
Widow, and you're going to have her
And I
flying
don't
the
even have a
Quinjet.
problem
What?
with them doing 2 action figures in the box, Black Widow and Captain America.
No, of course
Yeah.
not.
That's great. But that's Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
That is Grand Theft Auto is what that is. And that's illegal and you
so the
should go
thing
to
is-
jail.
the
I
thing is,
thought you were talking about the
Disney
video game
didn't-
for a minute there. I was like, I'm so proud. Oh, good Danny.
I know about the video game.
Okay, all right, okay.
So Disney, honestly, I genuinely believe, did not realize that there were going to be female comic book fans that would be upset about this because they, in their minds, perceive it as being just for 8-year-old boys. And so I think this has honestly come as a surprise, having women stand up and go, have you looked at the lines of people wrapping around the building for release
we
days?
have money too.
Yeah.
We make money.
I've
like to spend
had
it.
I've had 1.5 million conversations.
We've had 1.5 million conversations on the show about this.
Oh, I know, no kidding. It seems like every week we end up talking about
Every
this. Are we just going to change the
I
name
think
of the
this
show?
is Disney's actual
To-
crazy plot to just keep us talking about their shit every week.
Maybe. I hope
And it's
not.
brilliant. It's
'Cause
it's fucking working.
It's exhausting. I don't know about
Yeah.
brilliant. It's exhausting to talk
For
about this
us.
all the time. Anyway, we've had a lot of conversations off air about all this where it doesn't make sense to me from a financial standpoint. We even talked about this last week with Josh. To ignore a segment of the population. To sit there and say, don't worry about the
We don't
female
want
demographic. Why would you not? Why would you do that?
Their logic, which I do not agree with in the slightest, but their logic, having talked to some people that are professional buyers for places like Amazon and whatnot, is they are afraid that having a female presence at all will dilute the boy demographic, that boys will not buy a product if they see any female representation whatsoever. Like, even with cloth, I obviously make my own clothes. All of the Avengers cloth out there, none
All
of it,
boys.
all boys,
Yeah.
All boys.
Yeah.
None of it
I
has
have a
Black
quilt,
Widow in it.
a very large
There
quilt.
was
I may have made it
Big Hero
myself.
6.
No,
in
my
spare
mom
time.
made it for me.
I have a body pillow of Nightwing.
My mommy made it for
I may
me,
have
and
made
it's
that.
gorgeous.
I
And
don't
I'm
know.
gonna bring it in here next week, and I'm just gonna sit up and wrap up in it.
Do it.
So yeah, you're
But like,
gonna,
even with the Big Hero 6
mommy made
merchandise, they took all the female characters out of it with everything on
Yeah.
that.
And it's rough.
ridiculous. But they seem to think that we live in some sort of 1950s world where if little boys see something that implies there's a girl over there, it'll have cooties. And I don't think that's the world actual boys are
Well,
living in.
no,
And even if it is,
and if it is, it shouldn't
fuck
be.
that.
Yes,
That
I
is
would
a-
agree
I'm
with that.
16 and I just met my first girl.
Yeah, right.
Thank you, Marvel
I totally
Toys.
agree with that. If you are so afraid that there's a girl nearby and you can't touch it, you really need to look at your life. You really need to look at your life a little
And I
bit.
mean, let's
And
be
that's-
honest, they're all dolls. I understand that boys want to call them action figures for marketing purposes, but if you're in prison, you've all got your little dolls.
They're
Can we
dolls,
just
they're
change-
action figures, they're both. The two terms are not mutually exclusive. If
I-
I throw Barbie across the room, she is an action figure.
I was about to say, let's
Put her
start
in a
calling
catapult.
Barbie action figures,
Yeah.
and let's just do that.
You just like tip her head up a little bit and you just dart all across the room.
It'll
Especially the
work.
ones with the fairy wings. They get some actual traction before they.
Really get a little lift on those guys, man. They really
See, and
fly.
if they had made action figures for me, I wouldn't have ruined so many friggin' Barbies.
Geez,
But the
see?
point is, they're only marketing the Black Widow stuff at adult women. They're not actually putting it in with the children's toy line.
True.
And I find that problematic and insulting. They're
Well,
saying that,
I
like,
think they're going to
we
have an
still
easier
can't put
time
it in
doing
there
that
with the
when
little
more
girls.
toy stores stop genderizing their toy sections, though.
Well, that's great
I
in
think
Europe,
that
but
will
that's
be
not
part of
happening in
it.
the U.S.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great. They're doing it all over the place in Europe and the U.K. and all these places. That's not happening in the U.S. right now. They should totally de-gender
Yeah.
Toys R Us and stuff like that.
Yeah, the
but
fact
going
that-
back to your point, what you were saying is, they're assuming that boys won't touch this stuff. How many times do we have to have these focus groups and these studies where you put boys down and you ask what they think of these female heroes and like, they're awesome. Looking at Legend of Korra. You sit down little kids and watch Legend of Korra. They don't care that Korra's a girl. They care that Korra's awesome.
Yeah.
That's what's important.
Yeah.
So quit saying they don't. And I'm really pointing out the Legend of Korra right now because I want Korra merchandise. I want the Korra figure. I want the Korra
saw me.
statue sitting on my desk with everything else. I want the Korra merch.
I want to make them kiss.
Make that a thing. She will have weird kissing parties with the Korra Sami dolls. I want the Korra statue. We've already got a plush, but that's from The Last Airbender. That's not from Korra. Let's make this happen, Nickelodeon. Come on, Nickelodeon. Anyway, we can talk about this all day, but we're not. We're starting to run on the end of things. So I want to bring up the video of the week.
The video of the week is my favorite.
Adorable.
So for those of you who noticed and have not seen the light of day in a couple of days, Orange is the New Black Season 3 is out. I have watched it all already. Sleep is for the week. But so one of my favorite videos came out this week was Funny or Die, which living up to their name, basically Crazy Eyes auditions for every role in Orange is the New Black. And I gotta tell you, I would watch this show, the complete show, seasons 1, 2, and 3, with her playing every character.
So it's basically Orphan Black, Orange is the New Black. So she is every character. She nails it. Uzo Aduba was amazing. Yeah. Oh my God. If you have not seen this video, it really is great. And she actually nails it. All of these characters she pulls out.
When she starts putting on the wigs.
Oh yeah, it's the
Piper
wig.
is so good. It's ridiculous how good her Piper is. And the warm-up cracks me up.
Yeah, I mean, long story short, if you're watching Orange is the New Black, you need to watch this video because it will crack you up. The characters
And Crazy
are
Eyes
great.
has a really good season, you guys. She has a really good season in season
You're talking about
3.
season 3, the one that just came
Yes.
out, right? I have not seen season 3
No
yet.
spoilers, but she has a really good season. This is a
there
good
you
one
go.
for her. And her character deserves a win. I like
Yeah,
her character.
this is my favorite part right here. This is, that's not French. Yes, it is! I love it. I love it. It's so good.
Are you doing Lil Wayne? That's my favorite.
Yeah, that's probably the best line in all. Are you doing Lil Wayne?
Are you doing Lil Wayne? This is great too. This is so awesome. Because she really, this made me want to go back and rewatch the series and play a drinking game and just drink every time Alex Voss says fuck. It is awesome.
Drink the borscht.
And I like that the wig, her hair is so voluminous. Yeah. The wig is just like, the wig is just like not even, and this one too,
Hey, Dark Red Heart says that she wants Korosami magnetic hand-holding plushies.
Yes! Oh my God, that would be so perfect.
You hear that, Nickelodeon?
And Magnetic Poison Quinn. I know, like Magnetic Poison Quinn. Just there needs to be a website that makes dolls specifically for shippers, where all of the characters fit together.
What are you talking about? You've just made an Etsy right there. That needs to be your thing. Copyright. Actually, I'm going to copyright it. Copyright Mark Gardner.
You asshole.
You were slow, man. This is a quick-moving industry. You got to move.
But yeah, okay. So that's going to be.
Let us know when that Etsy shop opens up. You'll have her paycheck.
I'm so into it. I'm just gonna make ship dolls that my Captain America, Wonder Woman ship can finally be a thing.
It could be a thing, yes. So it's really just a bunch of stuffed dolls with magnetic hands.
Yeah,
I love it.
Figures with magnetic
lips,
hands and faces.
See, that's weird to me.
Magnetic lips?
Because you put the magnetic lips and then you put the hands on it. It's just like. I don't know if that's quite.
You get the alien one with the magnetic hands as well.
Little face sucker thing that just sticks on their face.
Ooh, yeah.
This is a whole thing. Etsy's with magnetic stuff. We need to stop talking about this because somebody's gonna do it.
Steal our idea.
That's actually a really good idea. We need to get some
Danielle's
budgeting
already
done.
on her digital art pad.
Yeah, Danielle's doing this. I'm gonna start a budget worksheet. Maybe we should roll this out so nobody steals our idea and we tell them to stop and come back next week.
There'll be a new site up next week.
Come back next week where we give you another great way to make money off of our ideas.
We'll have our first generation
every day,
plushies.
every
Here
week.
it
We're
is.
like fucking Forbes.
That's great. I love it.
We're like Forbes, but with more F word. More F bombs.
We put the F into Forbes.
Oh, I love it. That is totally our slogan right there.
Yeah.
It's I don't know what the name of the company is, but it's whatever it is. Anyways, that's all I got to say. Watch the video of the week. Don't steal our ideas to make money unless you give us some percentage of something.
Do
I think
it anyway.
75%
She really
is
wants to
probably
buy the
fair.
dolls.
I do. I want to buy the doll. I'll give you all my money back and just hand my paycheck right back over.
Hand it to me.
Yeah,
Don't give it to them. Give it to me.
Are you going to sew her dolls?
I maybe.
Do you have magnets at home?
I have magnets.
I have magnets.
I totally
Like
have magnets.
You're gonna get
there.
a scrap of cloth with a magnet on one side of it. This is the first draft of my doll.
Yeah, that's right. It's like a Captain America cloth
Make the
from,
TARDIS's kiss.
Joanne.
That's good enough.
Tardai?
Make the Tardite kiss.
Tardai.
Is that right? Is
All
that
right,
the one?
TARDIS on TARDIS action.
Yes.
And now on to slash fiction. Anyways, moving on. That's all we've got for today, guys.
And thank you so much for joining us for .geek. We do this every time at the same time. And be sure to check out these wonderful cookbooks.
I hear good things.
She'll
yeah,
because I'm really intrigued by
I've
steam
seen this one.
drunks.
Yeah, I'm
Steam drunks, man. I
Yeah.
am big into craft cocktails, and this is like all about making light
It's all
cocktails.
vintage cocktails from the 1890s through 1910s, written as though someone wants to murder you.
someone does want to murder me.
It's true, and that would be me. I also have
gold.
an unexpected cookbook, my Hobbit
This?
cookbook, which is
Oh
getting
my
great
God.
reviews on Amazon.
This.
I only know 3 of the reviewers, and so I'm really shocked that the rest of them are giving it 4 and
This.
5 stars. Thank you, other 27 people. I love you all. If you're watching this, thanks.
Thanks.
Yeah.
So Dark Art says that she will make them, she'll sew them, but she's just doing it so she can make friends. And Chris Camera is just picturing huge piles of like hands stuck to faces.
If
So
you
this is
do
the
this,
thing.
I'm expecting the face hugger one.
Oh, this is
I think
such
this
a
is
thing.
gonna
It's
get
got to have a second
really-
magnet that actually goes in the belly for the face hugger one.
Oh, it's like, oh, okay.
If people order like 5 or 6 of them, can we make it like an orgy pack?
No.
You're gonna have to have some other magnets, like in
Let's
other
get out of
places for
here.
that.
Go away. Thanks for watching. I'm Mark Gardner. Follow me on Mark Gardner ATX.
Hi, I'm Danny Danger. You can follow me on.
Hi, I haven't been
Danny
here for the
Danger.
past hour.
And I'm Chris-Rachel. You can follow me at Chris-Rachel.
Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you guys later on Geek.
On Geek.
Geek.
So, what is your favorite?